For decades, one company has defined the creative industry. They built a system of tools so essential that for most professionals, using their software became the only way to get a job. Adobe's position was so dominant that its brand name became the global verb for editing an image. If you were a graphic designer, video editor, or photographer, you didn't just use their software, you lived inside their ecosystem. This empire started in a garage in 1982. Two researchers, John Warnock and Charles Geschke, left Xerox to build a new way for computers to communicate with printers. They called their technology PostScript, and it digitized the world of professional printing. The technology was so disruptive that Steve Jobs tried to buy the entire company for $5 million in its first year. When the founders refused, he bought a 19% stake instead, making Adobe the first company in Silicon Valley history to be profitable in its first 12 months. From that point, the growth never stopped. With the release of Photoshop, Illustrator, and the PDF format, they established a monopoly. They created a world where professional work required their tools, and for a long time, there were no viable alternatives. For years, you could buy a copy of Photoshop for $700, pay once, and own it forever. But in 2013, the company ended that model, moving everyone to a monthly subscription called the Creative Cloud. This shift was a massive success for investors. Instead of waiting for users to buy an upgrade every few years, the company secured a permanent, predictable stream of cash that sent their revenue and stock price to record highs. However, users discovered a catch. The monthly price plan they signed up for was actually a legally binding one-year commitment, hidden in the fine print. If canceled early, the company charged a penalty worth 50% of the remaining contract. For many, the only way to stop the payments was to pay a massive exit fee. After years of customer complaints, the Federal Trade Commission stepped in. They sued the company for hiding these fees in tiny text, eventually leading to a $150 million settlement to compensate users. While the subscription model generated billions, it also built deep resentment. The company had traded the long-term trust of its users for the short-term security of a locked-in contract. While Adobe was focused on its subscription revenue, a competitor named Figma arrived. It offered free, web-based design tools that allowed teams to work together in real time, gaining a massive following among younger designers. To eliminate the threat, Adobe attempted to buy Figma for $20 billion. But regulators in the UK and Europe blocked the deal, arguing that the merger would unfairly protect Adobe's monopoly. The failed deal had a painful consequence. Adobe had to pay Figma a $1 billion breakup fee in cash. They effectively handed a massive fortune to their biggest rival, giving Figma the resources to continue the fight. Then came generative AI. To prove they were still leaders, Adobe launched Firefly, an AI image generator integrated directly into Photoshop. Users could now create or edit images simply by typing a prompt. But the rollout backfired. When the company updated its terms of service, users feared their private work was being used to train the AI without their permission or any compensation. This moment highlighted a growing problem. You cannot force people to adopt new technology if they no longer trust your brand's intentions. On paper, Adobe is more profitable than ever, bringing in over $6 billion a quarter. Yet their stock price has fallen 70% from its record high, as investors begin to pull away. Amidst this pressure, Shantanu Narayan, the CEO who spent 18 years building this subscription empire, recently announced his plan to step down. Investors are worried because the company's moat, the difficulty of learning its complex software, is disappearing. New AI tools are making creative work so simple that Adobe's expensive professional-grade programs are starting to feel like a burden rather than a benefit. And for the first time in decades, the professional creative community is actively looking for a way out. They are finding that the tools they were once forced to use are no longer the only options on the table. When technology changes this quickly, the only thing that keeps a customer from leaving is their belief in the brand. Without trust, even the most profitable empire can find itself standing on hollow ground.